Miss Elodie Jocelyn Ling. Miss Ling came to Harbour Island towards the end of the summer of 1962. She was employed by the then Board of Education as an assistant teacher. In many ways, Ms. Ling's training was particularly with children that were handicapped. In other words, she was a remedial teacher, although she did lots of teaching in general education. When Ms. Ling arrived on the Friday of 1962, I met her, and she was the picture of health. A young woman, a blonde, about 5'6", not heavy, not light, stately, stepped off the motor vessel Air Swift, the mail boat at the time, and we met informally, and I let her know that I was there to meet her as a part of the staff of the primary and what became the Harbour Island all-age school. Now, Miss Ling taught for a number of years. In fact, any child of a reasonable age, mid-40s, early 50s, in Harbour Island today were taught by Miss Ling in the primary school. For a while, Miss Ling acted as headmistress, while the Board of Education was sorting out a change of principle from Mr. Pat Beffel of Abaco, once a principal of Bahamas Teachers Training College, Nassau, and Mr. Falcon Major of Long Island, who succeeded him. In the interim, Ms. Ling tried to find out from me what was my interest, that is, whether I wanted to go on teaching as a career or was just into it as something to do. And to her dismay, she discovered that I was going to make a career of it. And she made sure that soon thereafter I got a hold of a very interesting book entitled Teaching Without Tears. I learned much from this book and was motivated by it. As time went on, in came Mr. Falcon Major, who we worked with for several months. And then they began the Evening Institute, preparing youngsters for the Bahamas Junior Certificate examination. And I happened to be the only one that Miss Ling and Mr. Major really got motivated to enter the Teachers Training College. And after their tutelage and advice and instruction and hints, sure enough, Ms. Ling and Mr. Major had young Prince ready for entry for September the 12th, 1964.
Well, Miss Ling, I knew from the day she came on this island, when she was very young, very beautiful and very pleasant and helpful to all of my children and all who wants to be somebody. She'll help them be who you want to be, because she was a very educated lady, and she will try to help you if you want help. But if you didn't want it, well, that was your business. she leave you alone. So I will always give her thanks and praise because she done a great job to my children, which I appreciated very much. And God bless her. Take care and enjoy your day.
Christopher has encouraged me to start a little program of how actually I got here and all about me. I'm Miss Elodie Ling, and I am now in Harbour Island in the Bahamas, and I've been here since 1962. I came here in the first place from a girls' school in Orange, New Jersey in the United States, and I came here on a spring break. I had a bicycle with me. I came from Nassau, and I went up to the public school. Here I found a man, a Bahamian man, who had actually been in my college in England, and he was in charge of the whole school. In fact, he had 128 children for himself, and I sat there for the whole morning. It was a one-building situation, all the children in one room, in long wooden benches. I looked around, and of course I'd been in this private school with lovely polished desks and lovely, lovely rooms. So my heart went out to this man with the children in long benches, and I said to myself, he needs help. So I stayed for the whole day, went back to Nassau, and went to the Ministry of Education. In the Ministry of Education, I found out a man who had been in my college and in England, and asked him if I could go there to teach in the following September. He asked me to go to the ministry, the chief person, and at this interview I almost certainly felt I could come to Harbour Island, so that I went back to my school in America, outside New York actually, and told them that I would give in my notice because I felt that I was needed in Harbour Island in the Bahamas. So then it was a private school. The parents gave me enough money not only to stay but to go around the world 3 times. I had so much money when I left that school. But of course I had already taught in France and in Europe, so I took that opportunity to go back to France and to go back and see all my friends in England. Finally, in September, I made my way by boat to Harbour Island. I had a bicycle with me. I took the bicycle up to school. I had very, very small luggage, and I stayed, if any of you know the shop Chikara Lumber, there was a little apartment above there, and Mr. Prince Mather took me up there, up above Chikara Lumber, where there was a little apartment. On the Monday morning I went to school. Nobody there, no children, no person, no teachers of any kind. So then I went to the administrator and found out, well, the schools had started in the Bahamas, what should I do? And he said, stay there and wait until some of the children come. So eventually, by Wednesday of that week, children had begun to come into the school. I began the school probably that Friday and got it established, and by Monday I think that other people came to help me. There was a man called Mr. Prince Mather who took over some of the children over the age of 8. I took over the children from age 5 to age 8, all in one side of the room, and he was in the other side of the room. We were all in long benches. Eventually I found that I could take the long benches outside and teach outside, which was a blessing. Over a period of years, in the Bahamas, they have a certain amount of certificates that the children should achieve before going on, after the high school and before going on to any place in Nassau. So that I did various night classes and various kinds of late afternoon classes. I found the children were very much in need of reading lessons, and more reading lessons, so that really I was fully occupied. I even taught some children at home after school. I had night classes and things like that. Well, there was one lavatory for the whole of the school population, and no sink or running water or anything like that, no tap. Eventually, a man called Mr. Humphrey Pesenti, who was very, very keen on helping schools, finally put in a tap and a sink. If I remember rightly, it was outside somewhere. Well, after I'd gone up into that public school on the first day of being here, I realized the need. Now, the Ministry of Education had only just realized the need in the islands, and actually the same month that I arrived here, or offered to go up into the public school, there were 30 man and wife couples arrived from London and were sent to all the islands, so that I decided to come here, because I realized the need. Mr. Falcon Major, the principal at that time when I came over that spring break, really by the end of the term, he left, so that when I appeared, when I arrived to come and teach, there was no other person but me. So I stayed because I felt there was no other person but me. And then, as I said, this was the year when the ministry decided they'd send some people to help. So one Englishman came called Mr. Colin Wilde, and he came to be principal. So that was fine. We divided the school in half. I had half and he had half. I had age 5 to age 8. He had from age 8 onwards. Mr. Prince Mather, who was what we call a monitor teacher, went on from here into the College of the Bahamas. I think he actually did a 3-year training as a teacher and came back for a short while and really did the island well. Yes, he was also very connected with a Methodist church here and spoke in the church, in the Methodist church, Mr. Prince Mather. I was attached to the St. John's Anglican Church, and I was able to do quite a little in the church as far as the children were concerned, and have sort of sharing the Sunday school and things like that. But on the whole, most of the children went to either the Church of God or the Church of God of Prophecy, and that seemed to be a very, very fulfilling kind of church situation for the children. Eventually, after about 11 years, I was sent to Green Turtle Key as a principal of a school there, and I stayed for about 10 years in Green Turtle Key. I was in charge of a school there, and enjoyed my life on Abaco. It was quite interesting. I found the people very different to our people. I mean, our people here on Harbour Island. I think by going from island to island, I learned quite a lot about the fact that each settlement of people are different, and many are just run by a particular family. Small islands are run by a particular family, especially in the Abacos, and especially in Green Turtle Key. St. Peter's Church in Green Turtle Key was a very old established church, and of course I became part of that. There was a man called Mr. Donald Smith, and he initiated a parish hall to be built, and sat outside on a row of 3 bricks high every Saturday, asking for donations to buy bricks to build the parish hall. Eventually it was made, a beautiful, beautiful parish hall, with kitchen facilities and many, many things. The interesting thing about here in Harbour Island is that we have the facilities, but we don't always have the people to help in those facilities. Although now I believe that the school has grown and is fully staffed. In fact, I'm sure it is. The school has been built onto in various ways. Round the back, I know they've got a science block, a domestic block where the girls were being taught cooking and various things to do with domesticity. And that's necessary here because many of the girls grow up and go into private houses to work, and I still think to this day there are many, many girls in houses doing that kind of work. Well, to the people of Harbour Island, I think that the parents have all done very, very well with their children. They really have achieved quite a lot. I mean, just look at the children who are now going into the College of the Bahamas and doing very, very well. And I feel that if the children have got any aptitude, meaning if you feel they want to get on in life, don't hold them back. Let them proceed, let them go, and let them do all these particular things which they must do to equip themselves to go into the offices here in Harbour Island, or go in the bank, or go into anywhere. I mean, the Harbour Island is a thriving community, and as such it needs girls and boys to go in there and be occupied. Well, as a young person, definitely I would go into the Vicam. Humphrey was a wonderful musician. He held, wonderful evenings, and he had an area in the front of the bar. People paid to go into the Vicam, and there were seats all around on the outskirts of the area, and he would, sometimes he played an accordion, sometimes he just stood in the middle of the room singing, sometimes he was just a great entertainer, and he loved doing that. He was a very able man. As I said, people paid to go into the Vicam, so that there was music all the time, and the atmosphere, as the night grew on, the atmosphere grew very, very much more merry and happy, and of course there's quite a lot of drunkenness in there, but I think Humphrey was a very mild man, and he saw people as they were. He loved the Americans going in there, and he entertained them, he really did. So that the Vicam was a beautiful place to go at night. The hotels didn't have any kind of, Pig Sands, you could be in there for dinner, but they didn't do anything after dinner. You sat around, or you went on the beach, there wasn't any place like the Vicam, which was a club right in the middle of Harbour Island, and the people just, where are you going tonight? I'm going to the Vicam. Yes, very much so. Very much so, I'm going to the Vicam. And it was just, it was the place that kept open until 2 and 3 in the morning, so that people wandered back to their hotels or whatever. It was just very, very popular, and the Vicam was certainly the soul of this island. It really was, and Mr. Humphrey was a great, great, friendly man. Always so friendly to greet everyone, and they felt so at home in the Vicam. Even all the white people who weren't used to all the black people, so that the black people made themselves be very friendly, and it became a nice, friendly place. Certainly. And you see, yes, where are we going tonight? I'm going to the Vicam. So I didn't see very much of Victor in the Vicam. Victor was really a farmer, and what I remember of Victor is getting big live animals, killing them, and tying their legs up against a tree, chopping them up down the middle, out in the open air, and asking you what part of the animal you would like, and chopping it all up, which was very, very out in the open air, on a Saturday morning. Yeah. I don't think it was pigs. I think it was, could have been goats. Goats, yes. Well, I think the fondest memories are when I got the house. The ministry rented a house for me, almost on the north side of the island. I think my fondest memories are getting up and walking down into the sea every morning before school. And even if I was very, very quick, I could manage a swim in the lunch hour, and definitely have a swim in the at 3:30 in the afternoon. I think the sea was one of the reasons why, as I've got a difficulty, a physical difficulty, that is helped by going in the sea or swimming, this was a blessing to me, really a very, very big blessing to me. Oh, I got the difficulty of the left femur, that's the thigh. I broke it in Ireland. I was a governess, that means a private teacher in a family, and I was out hunting on horseback, and the horse fell over a hedge, a division, you know, part of from one field into another, and the horse fell on me and I was trapped. I lay there, the horse got up and went away, and an ambulance came over the field and took me to hospital. I was in a place in Ireland called Newtonards. They had a hospital there, and they'd been, the hospital and the surgeon had been made famous through the fact that all around there was a place or an area where motorcyclists came once a year to do a race on a track in that town. And so that the hospital and the surgeon had been made famous through a lot of crashing of motorcyclists, which was most interesting because he was used to injuries. When you think of the population here, how it has grown, we have a very high Haitian population, both male and female. The females seem to go into, yes, private houses and work around. I used to have quite large groups of Haitian women in here, teaching them, and some of them had no English at all, so that at least now the ones that come after so many years are absolutely bilingual and can speak and work in houses. I don't know where else they can work. I'm not sure what else they do, but I do feel that maybe the Haitian population should be curtailed because, well, they're living with friends and things, and probably it isn't a very good idea. I'm not sure, that's only my idea of how they're being cared for themselves. Italia's the one who keeps coming back. Italia Johnson, she's here on the island at the moment. She really is very appreciative.
I'll let her know.
Yes, but she comes, I mean, she used to come even when she was older and just walking around and looking for some work to do. She really loves me, Italia, and she has got married and is very, very instrumental in coming here and telling me all her difficulties, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see any of the older pupils coming back and saying hello. I appreciate that very much. I really do. Well, to the people of Harbour Island, I think that the parents have all done very, very well with their children. They really have achieved quite a lot. I mean, just look at the children who are now going into the College of the Bahamas and doing very, very well. And I feel that if the children have got any aptitude, meaning if you feel they want to get on in life, don't hold them back. Let them proceed, let them go, and let them do all these particular things which they must do to equip themselves to go into the offices here in Harbour Island, or go in the bank, or go into anywhere. I mean, the Harbour Island is a thriving community, and as such, it needs girls and boys to go in there and be occupied. Well, I would say to you, if you're watching this, that if you have any reason to come into the Bahamas, you should certainly make Harbour Island one of your destinations. It is a very, very beautiful island, 3 miles long, 3/4 of a mile wide, and has had people living on it since the 17th century, so that you see it has just been a very popular island. It has wonderful amenities, and also there's water in the houses now. I mean, water by tap, which there wasn't many years ago. I think that people coming here for the first time don't realize how very, very beautiful and how wonderful Harbour Island is. It is truly a gem, and I mean, yes, certainly there are islands on Abaco, but they don't have this same atmosphere. The Harbour Island just has a very special atmosphere, and you get it after you've been on the north side of the island. The north side of the island is so beautiful. It has a 3-mile long pink sand beach. I have only met this pink sand coming from the coral in the ocean. I met it in Australia, and sure, there was a pink sand beach, but we have literally a pink sand beach, which you get the sand in your toes, and there's a saying here that once you get the pink sand in your toes here, you'll certainly come back again.